Welcome to the weekly Pirls Stock Market Commentary video featuring the proprietary bull bear point and figure market breadth summary chart for November 6th, 2016. Market breadth. With this past week's market decline, our bull bear point and figure ratio at 0.57 fell from 0.93 last week, moving further into bearish territory. The total count of securities in bullish or bearish patterns increased 6% to 3,280. The count of bearish stocks increased 30%, while the count of stocks in bullish patterns decreased 21%. The Pirls PNF Market Breadth Summary Chart shows us a market now 2 weeks in bearish territory. Paid subscribers have access to the Open Office Calc data from which the chart is generated. You may become a paid subscriber by visiting s2pmarketsignal.com, clicking Membership, clicking Register, and following the prompts. To subscribe to the Pirls Stock Market Commentary via email, free of charge, simply enter your email address in the space provided and click Subscribe. The well-known market breadth indicator, the Nasdaq McClellan Summation Index, fell 302 points for the 13th decline in 14 weeks. At a negative 488.40 points, it continues below all 5 tops above plus 100, has fallen below the January 2015 bottom, the April 2014 bottom, and continues above all 3 remaining bottoms below minus 100 in the last 3 years. Volume analysis. In this week's volume analysis, the Nasdaq Composite Index ended in neither accumulation nor distribution mode, with average daily volume higher than the prior week. In the last 2 weeks, the Nasdaq had 0 accumulation days and 5 distribution days. Accumulation days are counted when the index closes up on higher volume than the prior market day, while distribution days occur when the index closes down on volume higher than the prior market day. Last week also, the Nasdaq ended in neither accumulation nor distribution mode on higher average daily volume. Momentum, now at a negative 204.49 from a negative 123.09 a week ago. The CCI 20 daily, in a Woody's downtrend at Tuesday 10:25 close, presented a zero-line reject short entry signal within the plus or minus 50 range and declined for the remainder of the next 2 weeks. We will continue following the results of this trade simulation in next week's commentary. In Woody's CCI trading system, 6 consecutive bars above or below 0 are required for a change of trend. The weekly CCI 20 of the Nasdaq Composite Index began a Woody's uptrend 27 weeks ago, while the daily CCI 20 began a Woody's downtrend 2 weeks ago. The CCI 20 weekly has fallen to a negative 25.50 from a positive 46.21 last week, continuing within the plus or minus 50 range for a new zero-line reject long entry signal if the CCI 20 weekly should rise next week. Although we don't take counter-trend trades, we notice that the CCI 20 weekly has now broken through a ghost trend line begun May 2016. Industry rotation the last 2 weeks. All of the top 5 industries are positive and all of the bottom 5 are negative. Summary: gold and silver, banks, and some tech on top. Oil services, retail, and REITs on the bottom. Bullish KBW Bank and Networkers continue in the top 5. Disk Drives has entered the top 5. Oil Services continues in the bottom 5. Bearish Gold and Silver continues in the top 5. REITs continues in the bottom 5. S&P Retail has entered the bottom 5. Computer hardware and semis have left the top 5. Focus this week from www.zerohedge.com. Quote, "Sell everything now," end quote, David Stockman warns. America faces, quote, "total disaster, partisan warfare," end quote. Highlighting David Stockman's interview on CNBC. His message is very simple, so we reproduce it from Zero Hedge below. Under a Trump victory, all bets are off, warns former director of the Office of Management and Budget under President Ronald Reagan, David Stockman. "I like Trump because he's against the establishment, but he has no economic program. Yes, he's a disruptor, but has nothing to disrupt with," Stockman told CNBC. "If elected, it will be partisan warfare and a total disaster." Stockman's message is clear, as CNBC notes. Sell everything. The markets are hideously inflated. If you don't sell before the election, certainly do it afterward. Government is going to be totally paralyzed regardless of who wins. There could be a 25% drawdown on markets. As CNBC details, Stockman posits that under a Clinton administration, official investigations and new hacked email disclosures from WikiLeaks will be nonstop. Furthermore, he reasoned that the House will become a killing field for anything Clinton is trying to do. Ultimately, Stockman said the Democrat would enter the Oval Office bruised, bloody, and all but lacking in legitimacy. For 6 months or even longer, there will be acrimony, there will be brinkmanship, there will be paralysis. There will be a swarm of House committees doing investigations from all of these WikiLeaks, Stockman said of Clinton's hypothetical early days in the White House. Therefore, there will be no baton handed off from the Fed to fiscal policy as we slide into recession, he added. Stockman, who spent 20 years on Wall Street with Salomon Brothers and Blackstone and served as a congressman for Michigan, said the IRS is the government agency that is the clearest indicator that a storm is brewing over financial markets. The IRS said that last year revenue was up 1%, and in the last quarter it was down 4%, explained Stockman. And in the 5 months since May, payroll withholding was barely keeping even with wage inflations. That means the work hours aren't happening. From here, Stockman reasoned that with a paralyzed Congress, a soon-to-expire debt ceiling, a powerless central bank, and a market that's been flat for 700 days, that the pieces are in place for a crisis. We're in the same place today as we were in December of 2014, explained Stockman. There's massive risk. So what's the possible reward? Stockman likened the future of Wall Street after the election to San Francisco after the 1906 earthquake, one of the most devastating ever. For this reason, Stockman has washed his hands of everything in his portfolio, except cash and gold. Thank you for watching this week's Sand to Pearls Stock Market Commentary, featuring the proprietary bull-bear point and figure market breadth summary chart, compiled by Donald Pearl, www.s2pmarketsignal.com. Hoping that you are enjoying a pleasant and peaceful weekend, that you are looking forward to a prosperous and productive week coming up. That if you are a praying person, you are praying for our country, the USA. And as always, wishing you true success.